In this video, we are going to look at the attribute table for our shapefile, just kind of explore what we can do in there, play around with some of the functionality of the underlying database information within any of our shapefiles. So I've got this country's data all nice and loaded up, ready to go. Pretty cool on its own. Map of the countries of the world. But within the shapefile, our standard kind of vector data that we use for all of our GIS work, it's not just the pretty shapes, it's the data and the information corresponding to those shapes. We can look at the attribute table here inside of ArcGIS Pro just with a right click. Remember that right click is your powerful tool for figuring out all of your other options for a given layer or option inside of Arc. And then we see attribute table here at the top. Open the attribute table for this layer. That's exactly what I want to do. Let's click on that. The attribute table generally will pin to the bottom of your screen as the default. You can click and drag and unpin it if you want, or pin it somewhere else, I suppose. I kind of like it down there where it belongs. What the attribute table does is it shows you all of the information that is within the file. Now, sometimes it's got some odd formatting quirks. I don't know why my country column was so big, but that's okay. So this is all the data that is inside of your shapefile. Each of the rows corresponds to one of your shapes: Falkland Islands, French Guiana, Guyana, so on and so forth. And as you select them, as you click them on the left-hand side here, they show up on the map. If I click on Venezuela here, Venezuela lights up on the map. Pretty cool. This is the advantage of a spatial organization of data. It's not just rows in a spreadsheet, not just columns in a spreadsheet. Instead, these are spatially linked. I can do the same thing if I want to select something from the map. I can go to my select tool up here in the selection group. I can click on the US, click on Egypt, click on India, click wherever I want. And then that corresponding entry is going to light up in my attribute table. Now, India's in here somewhere. I know it is. One of the easier ways to navigate the attribute table in Arc Pro is to show only our selected records. So you can see everything in that nice little light blue. Will eventually highlight where it is. There it is. Or we can choose show selected records, and it will show us just what we have selected. One of the key buttons, I suppose, one of the key functions in here is that when you're making your selections, say we're selecting, I don't know, whatever we want to select in here. Eventually, you're going to be done with that selection. Eventually, you're going to have selected your thing, and you're going to want to move on to the next selection or move on to some other work. It's really important when you're done selecting stuff to clear your selection. There's a clear button here in the attribute table itself. There's a clear button here up at the top. Clear that selection whenever you're done. If you don't, your future analysis and work could be impacted. Arc only does certain types of processing, most types of processing, on selections. If you're doing exports, it only exports selected things. There's lots of restrictions that the selection puts on the work you might do. So when you're done with your selection, you hit clear every time. And then you just make a new selection. All right, new selection, clear, new selection, clear, new selection, clear. Get the idea? Another thing that can pop up is that when you're still in show selected mode, it can look like there's nothing in your attribute table because you have nothing selected. Show selected records. I have no selection, therefore it's going to show me nothing. Switch back to show all records. You can see everything that's going on. So we have each of our items here, each of our entries, each of these corresponding to a shape. We also have our columns. They're referred to as fields within the attribute table. So these fields then are containing some piece of information here. We can sort these fields just like anything else. Can sort numerical things ascending or descending. We can sort textual things alphabetically. That's our attribute table. So the attribute table gives us lots of opportunities, lots of ways to explore our data. Lastly, this is the information then. All of this information here is then what I can use to symbolize my data. So if I go back to my countries, I've got this great countries map, a cool pinkish color. Well, if I want to say symbolize by population, this is where I'm linking to that. So I can come over here and say show population. Well, let's do graduated colors would look good for population. Oh, look, it's already picked a fairly, I don't know, I think that's a little bit bright for me. There we go. I like that one a little better. This field in our symbology is coming directly from our attribute table. If it's not in the attribute table, we cannot symbolize our data. Think about that again. If it's not in our attribute table, we can't symbolize our data with it. Well, maybe I want to see my unique countries instead. Let's do country name. Yeah, let's generate all those unique values. Oh, that looks good. Just like a National Geographic map. So, attribute table contains all of the information that is linked with your shapefile. You can sort that attribute table just like you can any other spreadsheet. And that also is where you pull your symbology from. In another video, we'll talk about how to edit in that attribute table. Go have a look.